it's a very old tradition that started in the Scandinavian countries, and then when the Scandinavians came to Pennsylvania Dutch country, they brought it with them. And it's sort of like the barn raising where everybody got together, they put up the barn, and the last thing was they put a tree or a branch at the top, and everybody celebrated the fact that they'd done it as a team.
Great job.
Good research.
Thank you, Kyle. And she did say she didn't want to say anything. But, you know, I've listened to her for the whole job.
But I know Warren. Warren's not going to listen.
I know. My father's in construction, and when they put up the final skin, they put a tree on the top, and that lets everybody know that they're now ready to begin putting the walls and the electrical. And
That's right. So this started, as far as we can tell, around the 1400s. You know, a little bit before Columbus discovered America. So it's a long-standing tradition, and in the old days, it was done differently. The trees were cut on the property, and they were made into timbers, and then the timbers were aged until they were ready for construction. And then the carpenters would work on the timbers and shape them and join them until they were ready to go, and then all the neighbors would come over. And the neighbors would help lift these timbers into place. And when the topmost timber was put in place, that would be the ridge of the roof, that's when the ridge ceremony would take place. Now it's a little bit different. Now we have months, we have to go to the building department and do permit applications. Many of you have been through that process, Stephen certainly has. And it's much more meticulous, but it still takes a lot of time and a lot of thought and a lot of preparation to get to the point where you're even ready to start a construction project. So it still feels appropriate to have a ridge ceremony. The ridge ceremony is to kind of celebrate the fact that the whole community has worked together to get to this point. And they've done so in support of the people who own the house, Mike and Kyle.
so thank you, community.
Thank you.
Yes. So you are the community right now, and you know that's kind of what we're celebrating. The house is finished, so we're not doing it at the traditional time, because at that time Mike and Kyle were living in a tiny little space off in a corner while dozens of people were making noise and making a mess all over the house. So there was no space really.
Little peepholes through the
Right.
wall.
And there was one very powerful individual who was part of this, who was not present at this meeting, and that's Schroeder. And because he's a huge personality, that's their Schroeder, the shelter schnoodle.
Exactly.
Right. Great dog, but he couldn't climb the ladder. So, so the process is getting to that point, and then taking a branch of a tree that grows on the property as a symbol of the spirit of the land that was here long, long ago and will be here long after we're gone. And Stephen, the champagne, it's all open around the corner there.
At the end.
Julie, you're watching.
Does anybody want like sparkling cider or something instead?
No, this is for porn, okay?
Oh.
This is.
Don't forget Steve Cole.
Yes.
Right. So, we take the branch from a tree that grows on the property and a small nail.
Yeah. Whoa,
Woo!
a spike.
And nail it to a high place. And Kyle,
Yes,
does this go up or down?
down.
Down, okay, like this?
Yes, that's fine. But it's not over the garbage can.
Uh-oh, okay. How's this?
That's better.
Okay.
A little. Now you have.
Okay, we take fruit of the vine and the work of human hands. We ask the spirit of this land and God to bless Kyle and Mike and all of their friends, that this be a shelter in which they can thrive and prosper and enjoy their life together. Okay, Kyle, close your eyes.
Warren, do you do weddings?
Well, James and I did have a wedding. But I'm not against weddings. So at this time, I would also like to toast. My glass is here somewhere.
What was your token?
It had a little
Grapes.
Grapes, yeah.
Oh, that's the echidna.
Nope, that's not it.
That's the echidna.
How about if I take this?
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to toast Mike and Kyle, who have been such a blessing through this
If you guys would
project.
come into the same shot, that would be really
Yeah.
helpful.
And Jameson is videoing this.
Okay,
Take a look at
everyone to one side.
Bravo.
So this is to you guys and to Steve Cole.
Yes, sorry.
Who is
not yet.
taking care of his father's affairs, who just passed away unexpectedly in UK. We worked together, and we all worked by the byword of WWKD.
Right.
Mike, what does that mean?
What would Kyle do?
Right.
Oh, I should put on my hat.
Okay, you
Oh,
can put
let
on
me
your
get
hat,
my
all right.
hat. Can you reach it right there?
And yeah, I have to take a minute and blame Julie. Julie walked through here when she was doing the final design in the kitchen. She said, you should take this was a doorway, came down about to here, and that one, and the one over the living room. She said it would be a lot more open feeling if we just took those headers out. Well, it turned out
It was a
roof.
monumental
that was
act.
supporting the whole roof.
Go, Julie.
So thanks to Julie, Mike and I spent quite a bit of time in the attic.
And there was a lot of praying.
There was a lot of
Please
praying, and
don't
there
let
were
this
some
slip.
big timbers up there. So, thank you, Julie. You know, it had made a huge difference, more than I thought, and it certainly made a huge difference in the amount of work that we had to do. So thank you so much. I think it was well worth it. It was
yes,
definitely worth it.
absolutely.
Looks
So,
beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and to Donnie, who's magic with colors, worked with Kyle, and somehow you guys got this completely coordinated so everything goes together. So this has been a real blessing for me to be working with this couple. As Jameson said, they were my, what did you say, my,
Best ever.
no, definitely best ever.
Best ever.
But you said my guardian angels.
Oh.
Put them in my life at this time because I had recently had
That was a
surgery
long
and was
version.
not as able as I had been in the past.
Well, you were more than able.
Yes, yeah.
Thanks.
You surprised me.
Oh,
And if you ever see him in a t-shirt and he lifts up his right arm, he has muscles to die for.
oh.
Anyway, this has been a wonderful and joyful project, and I am
Yes,
very
thank you.
grateful to the two of you
Thank
Thank you, Warren.
Thank
for
you,
inviting
everybody.
me into your life. So
Thank
let's
you for
all
joining
drink
us.
to Mike and Kyle and the
And
future.
Steven,
They're here
thank
for the
you.
duration. And to Steve Cole, who was working behind the sign and behind the scene and made everything fit just perfectly.
Thank you.
And Donnie and Babalu that made all the colors work and throughout the entire house. So thank you,
Thank
and
you.
cheers to all of you.
Cheers.
God bless
Cheers.
you all, yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you for helping us and bringing some really great artisans and craftsmen, craftswomen
Yes.
to this house. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and it turned out perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's made his forever home.
So
It
we're not
wasn't at
moving
the
again,
beginning.
right?
It doesn't get better than that.
And you know, another story is they moved down here and all the boxes were out on the deck in all the rain, and Mike had them tarped and roped against the storms. And when trees were falling left and right, somehow they didn't fall on us.
No, and nothing was wet, and nothing was broken.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yes.
Kyle remembered where everything was.
Yes,
So thank you so much.
thank you.
So enjoy. This is the bridge ceremony.
Chin chin.
And Stephen,
Yes.
Yes, when Kyle invited me, she said she wanted me to say a blessing.
Yes,
And
please.
I have no idea what I would say as far as the blessing. It's not something I really do. But I thought of all the really wonderful blessings that happened as part of this when I first came, because I came shortly after you bought the
Moved
house.
in,
Right.
yes, before we moved in.
And I'm doing a energy consulting, so I was helping them, you know, giving them some advice and some things. And I was so honored to be working with Mike, because my business as building science and energy consulting, I learned a lot from Lawrence Berkeley National Labs. They're one of my major sources of information and reports, and I go to classes and their speakers are there, and so I was really honored to be
And that's
giving.
where Mike,
And that
came from.
where Mike came from. So I was really honored to be able to give something back to someone from Lawrence Berkeley Labs. And then, so that was the first blessing for me.
Mhm.
And the next blessing happened, which we weren't sure if it was a blessing at first, when I found out that the water heater
Mhm.
was spewing carbon monoxide into the side yard, where it could actually make someone sick if they worked there.
Mhm.
And we, you know, this was not a good thing to find out. I mean, we could have called PG&E and had them shut down the house. But we looked into it deeper and deeper and discovered that the water heater was flawed. It was
Mhm.
broken.
Mhm.
And it was just about a year before the warranty was up.
Yeah.
So,
Woo,
so we
end of our
called,
teeth.
we sent documentation, the manufacturer replaced it. This was like a 4-year-old water heater, tankless water heater. They
Mhm.
replaced it with the new model for free.
Mhm.
Mike's homeowner's insurance paid for the installation.
So,
And the program that I was working with gave them a $600 rebate.
yeah.
Another
So that worked out quite well.
Very
you know.
fortuitous.
So that's a win-win.
That was a
Yeah.
blessing. And then the last one was, Mike said, well, you know, we've done the furnace system and the water heater, the things we're gonna do. We wanna do a kitchen remodel, who do I call?
Mhm.
So I gave them 2 or 3 names,
Mhm.
and they called Warren.
Yep.
And that was the last blessing
blessing, yes.
that really started the whole story that Warren just told.
Turned
So,
out well in every
For,
regard.
for
Yep.
everybody.
Thank
Yep.
you,
Thank
So
you.
that, those are our blessings.
yes.
Thank you.
We each got
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Steve and I have been working together since the early 70s.
Yeah.
Oh, woo.
Yes, and had more influence on me than any other person that I've ever worked with in terms of my attitude and the way.
It's true, I've heard the stories. It's true.
James has heard the stories. And Donnie, even before that, Donnie's grandfather, I worked with him and his father. They were both great painters, and Donnie is better than both of them.
Woohoo! Even better.
Blessings galore.
Yeah, so this
Thank
has
you.
been just a whole series of blessings. And, you know, I was just thinking, you know, I worked with your dad when he was 18.
You worked with my grandmother.
And with your grandmother, right? And she came out and moved into my office even for a while, yeah.
Mhm.
So it's been a wonderful joy to have been with this group for all these years. A lot of memories, and I've tried to describe to Jameson what that's like, but it's
Almost makes you want to start again sometime.
yeah.
Yeah.
Warren, you've known me since I was about yay high.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. That's what I
Alright.
think that's what I.
So here's to you guys. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
This has been a joy and a blessing.
Thank you.
You know, I look forward to coming to work every day. And
And when you
Schroeder
didn't
was
come-
always
when,
there.
yes, and when you didn't come, Schroeder was lying at the front door waiting for people to come. He's at a sleepover.
That's all I've heard about was Schroeder's.
I
room.
know.
I
know.
We'll have
me
you over
too.
in smaller groups.
Do you have a picture of Schroeder?
Yes.
Well, something on my phone.
That's
Oh,
what
yes.
Lonnie was talking about. Schroeder,
Yes,
Schroeder,
well,
Schroeder.
I know,
he just
same
gets
here. I
so
wanted to meet the
excited
dog.
and, you know, it just would be too much for him. He's missed all of you so much. He just was sitting at the door waiting patiently.
Johnny was telling me that you won't believe this dog.
I know he's a
Awesome
really
dog ever.
amazing dog. Really amazing dog.
This is Schroeder with a raincoat on.
Aw.